People tell me all the time, I get it, I know meditation is good for you, but I just cannot find the time to do it. Even some of the most successful people I know tell me this. So here's some tricks that I've used to build a habit in the midst of a very busy life in which I anchor the news, write books, host a podcast, travel around giving speeches on meditation, help run this app you're using right now, all while trying to make time for my wife and our little baby boy. First tip, you can meditate pretty much anywhere. Don't get fixated on finding the perfect, pristine, quiet place. I do it in taxis, in my office, in parks, on planes, and even when I'm waiting for our little barbarian to fall asleep. True story, I once meditated in the back of a military chopper when I was covering the war in Iraq. Another time, I even did walking meditation in a jail cell. Just so you don't get the wrong idea here, I was actually covering a story at the time. Second tip, you don't need to be obsessive about meditating at a particular time of day. You may find a regular time slot, and that's great, but if you're like me and you have an unpredictable schedule, just fit it in when you can. And if you're not a morning person, do not try to force yourself to do it right after you wake up. Experiment a little bit and find something that works for you. A daily reminder can sometimes be useful, and if you want one of those, you can set one up right in the app. Third tip, give yourself a break. Type A people, and I speak as one of them, often dive into meditation with lots of lofty ambitions, and then when they fall off the wagon for a few days, the voice in their heads starts telling them a story about how they're failed meditators. Totally untrue. When you fall off the wagon, and you probably will, just begin again. Nothing's been lost. It's like when you get distracted during meditation itself. Just begin again. And here's my final tip. Perhaps the most powerful method I have found for sustaining my practice is to really notice the benefits as they show up in my actual life. I really knew meditation was starting to work when just a few weeks after I started doing it, I would overhear my wife at cocktail parties telling our friends that I was less of an asshole. So is meditation making you 10% less likely to pop off at your boss? Notice that. Is it making you 10% less likely to overeat? Give yourself some credit. Give yourself a cookie. The more you pay attention to the wins, the more likely you are to keep practicing. Don't make the mistake of expecting some instant grandiose transformation. It's a little bit like those erectile dysfunction ads. If you experience a state of cosmic bliss or boundless compassion that lasts for more than 4 hours, call your physician. As I often say, many people start to meditate because of the science, but you don't keep meditating because you think your prefrontal cortex may be changing. You keep meditating because it makes you less of a jerk to yourself and others. And that's the good stuff.